Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. Here, morning. How you doing, you lot? What we got for you today? Oh, universities recruitment. Yes. So we're on the subject of EDI once more. Now, before we begin, please do share, subscribe, buy me a coffee, the usual stuff. But mostly, if you want to become a warrior teacher, we'll be having another intake in October of this year. Then please do fill out the usual forms that are all in the links, and we'll have a chinwag, see if it's the sort of thing you might like to do. So, university recruitment, let's crack on with this. EDI requirements are causing free speech compliance failures. Now, this is very interesting because we're starting to see regulatory pushback in various places, but particularly in the US of A, where Trump, Orange Man Bad, is doing his thing. So this is rather an interesting site that I've got here, which is alumni for freedom of speech and all sorts of stuff. I've got the links in the dubris for you to have a look at so you can follow it yourself. And there's actually a full report that goes with this, which will be an interesting read for anybody interested in academia or in the eradication of EDI, DEI from the public sphere. So, university recruitment, EDI requirements causing free speech compliance failures. Universities which require applicants to roles to provide evidence of their support of EDI or impose duties on their employees to promote or support EDI are highly likely to be in breach of their obligations to protect free speech. Isn't this interesting, you see? This is the sort of stuff that was highlighted a long time ago by Akua Reindorf in her report, but also is a direct result of the work of the Office for Students and their freedom of speech advice and guidance. So I think this is a good move forward, but I'll wait to hear from you whether you do. In recent years, free speech campaigners have encountered numerous examples of universities requiring applicants for jobs to provide evidence of their support for EDI or get marked down on selection, or imposing duties on employees to promote or support EDI. EDI has become a broad, amorphous concept that includes contested viewpoints and agendas, which are not required to be enforced by the Equality Act or other laws. That's interesting that they call it that, a broad, amorphous concept. It's not a broad, amorphous. It's simple. It's cultural Marxism. End of story. It's an attempt to flatten everything. It's driven by equity and embraced by cluster B nut jobs. So, yeah, get it gone. As a result, candidates and employees who do not agree with such viewpoints, as is their legal right, are discriminated against or discouraged from expressing their viewpoints. This is highly likely to be legally and regulatory non-compliant. I know people who won't apply. Right, so they're automatically excluding people by saying you must agree with this cultural Marxist cobblers. It's happening across the board. UK are up to United Kingdom Research and Innovation. They're up to their neck in it, requiring people to bloody. What will be the amount you'll spend on EDI and DEI to ensure that trans, black, disabled lesbians are at the top of your list? You're just a bunch of intersectional Normans. AFFS has been, with the help of the Committee for Academic Freedom and other free speech organisations, conducting research into 21 English and Welsh members of the Russell Group to clarify the extent of this issue and applying pressure to universities which appear to be acting unlawfully in this regard. Now, Russell Group, the biggies, right? They're the red bricks, the big universities. Shockingly, across these leading universities, 8 required candidates to provide evidence of their commitment to EDI as part of the recruitment process. These are EDI support evidence failures. 11, including 5 of the above, imposed duties on candidates to support or promote EDI. These are EDI support duties failures. Only 7 appear to be compliant based on publicly available information. AFFS has also conducted less detailed research into English and Wales members of Universities UK, and has found that out of the total of 108 universities reviewed, over 45% are highly likely to be acting non-compliantly. A further 15 are seriously at risk of non-compliance, which, if this were indeed the case, would take the non-compliant total up to over 59%. This level of non-compliance is not only a serious concern for academic freedom and free speech generally in the UK, it leads to serious financial and reputational harm for universities. Recent high-profile examples of the adverse implications of free speech failures, particularly at the Open University and Sussex University, are clear examples of the dangers of getting this wrong. Failure to comply with free speech obligations must be taken more seriously, both for the health of public debate, but also as a serious compliance issue for university administrators. And you can see there a link saying, see our report here. So this is really the first indicator that there might be tools for us to use that may be available to prevent yourselves from getting involved in this rubbish. Now, it is my belief, which I am allowed to hold and express, is that the first rule of so-called EDI is that you have the right to be left alone. That's it. It's that simple. Then you can just say, yeah, I'm not interested in that, thanks. That's how I think it should be. But personally, and on a more serious level, if businesses and organizations like universities do not eradicate EDI and DEI from their workplace, then they're going to end up in real trouble. The entire thing has to go. Now, I noticed LGB Alliance and the crew doing work on the old LinkedIns alongside the likes of the This Isn't Working podcast with Tanya the Grunwald, right? Okay, are doing great work around what's going on, what's happening, what's going on, and then talking about how you can have an affinity group for this and an affinity. Listen, the whole thing goes, right? I've got the premise of why it goes. I know why it needs to go. I know where it came from all those years ago. I know why it's been built into organizations, and I know why those organizations are systemically set to fail because they are doing this. So I think it's time that we said it. You don't need to do EDI, DEI, just ignore it, right? Okay, there's only a few organizations that have to deal with the public sector equality duty. It's important that we make sure this doesn't creep out into other things and small companies that haven't got time for this kind of cobblers anyway. So let's get it done. Let's get EDI and DEI out of the workplace when people start. Again, I'll say it, I've said it before. If you get asked, if you get a form, says to you, what colour are you? You know, what do you like to put up your bum? Whatever it may be, just tick none of the above, or refuse to answer it. Don't give them the data they need to cause trouble, which is what they'll use it for. They'll cherry pick the data anyway in the first place. And most of the people that work in an EDI, DEI aren't even vaguely competent at understanding the cultural mess they're going to get themselves in. So that's my take, but this is worth a read. Go and have a look. There's much more to it. Go and have a look. I think you'll find that it's an interesting thing to engage with for a few minutes today. Other than that, that's me lot. I'm done. You could, go and do something else. Stop listening to this fool, this old fool rabbiting at the end of the line. And do, share. Thanks very much. Pass it round. Oh, that was the other thing. J.K. Rowling set up a fund to help women sue their employers because they aren't obeying the law. I'm down with that, aren't you? I don't know why, but it reminds me of First Wives Club. Do you remember that? First Wives Club with Goldie of the Horn and Diane of the Keaton and Bet of the Midler. You don't own me. Do you remember? Hey, little girl, fix your hair, comb your makeup. Not the other way around, whatever it may be. Whether, in the beginning, what was her name? Cynthia, played by Stockard Channing, takes a dive off of a Manhattan apartment. And these two women go about getting revenge on their husband. It was tremendous. So I don't know why it reminds me of that, but it does. J.K. Rowling's now got a fund. This is all good. Go read the article. I'll see you later.